Good afternoon, Washington State. This is Ray from WeSpeak.com with another update. Today's special guest is Senator Doug Ericksen from the 42nd District. Doug's going to be talking about a COVID-19 update and some things that are going on. Doug, what do you think about what's going on? Why don't you fill us in?
Hey, first off, thank you very much, Ray, for what WeSpeak is doing to help get news and information directly to the people of Washington State. It's a much-needed resource. Hello, Washington State. Doug Ericksen, 42nd District State Senator. Taking a quick moment to talk to you about the COVID-19 response here in Washington State, but first I'd like to say that our thoughts and prayers go out to the people who have been directly impacted by the COVID-19 virus. Whether you've had a family member who's fallen sick or unfortunately has passed away, whether you're a first responder or some of our medical support people on the front lines, we're there with you. But I also like to say we can't forget about the people of Washington State who have suffered other losses, whether it be from a cancer death, from the common flu, or from suicide during this very difficult time in Washington State. We have to be there for everyone and making sure that Washington State is looking out for all people, including those who have perhaps lost their job due to the virus or small business owners who are trying to figure out how they can keep their business open after this pandemic is over. I hope people are able to reach out to the federal programs and get the assistance that they need to be able to continue to operate and maintain here in Washington State. During the past few weeks, many difficult decisions have been made, many of them made out of the executive branch by Governor Jay Inslee, with the powers that are vested in his office during an emergency. When you're making so many difficult decisions in such a short period of time, you can't get all of them right. That's why I'm working with my fellow colleagues in the state legislature to encourage and push Governor Inslee to change direction on a few of the key decisions that he has made. One of those decisions is with regards to residential construction. We need to open up residential construction here in Washington State and start putting people back to work in a safe fashion. This is one of those areas where we need to implement the rules evenly across the board. Right now in Washington State, if you're working on a government project, for example, the new dormitories at Whatcom Community College, or on low-income housing that's funded by the government, you can continue to operate. But if you're a residential builder, a small independent company, you're not allowed to go to work, putting your company at risk. That's simply not fair. It's not an issue of health. It's an issue of fairness. And also in terms of how we bring everybody into this economy together. Imagine yourself being a small business person who can't go to work and you drive down the street and you see people working on a government-funded project. That simply needs to change. Another example is automobile sales are banned in Washington State. You can go to Oregon or go to Idaho and buy a car, but you can't buy one in Washington. Does that mean it's somehow more dangerous to sell cars in Washington State? No. It's simply a bad decision that came out of the governor's office, and many people have to wonder if it's not because Governor Inslee does have a dislike for the individual automobile and the person that drives their cars to work here in Washington State. Those are the kind of decisions that need to be fixed. And Washington State is the only state in the union that bans recreational fishing opportunities for its citizens. That's a decision that has to be taken another look at and gone back and fixed to make sure it's fair and equitable to all. The key to responding to a crisis is having uniform response across all different areas. It's not fair to have one set of rules for one group of people and a different set of rules for another. That's what needs to be fixed going forward as we open up our economy and put Washington State back to work as soon as possible. I'm not naive about the responses that are going to come from some sources of the deep state of the federal government here in Washington State. A couple of ideas I've seen brought forward are very troubling to me, and I want to make you aware of them. Some people are proposing that we start tracking every citizen here in Washington State and throughout the country through your smartphone to keep track of your whereabouts, have you test for the coronavirus, COVID-19, have that data entered with the government, and then have you tracked everywhere you go with updates going to people that you come into contact with. I think we need to be very careful going forward that we protect the freedoms and liberties granted to us in the Constitution of the United States of America. We can be safe, but we can also protect our freedoms. Requiring tracking of this type would not be wise and it wouldn't be prudent going forward. Today alone, the Seattle Times has 2 articles about proposing these types of programs. They say they wouldn't be mandatory, but mega companies such as Google and Apple are currently pushing them along with other parts of the government. And while they say it wouldn't be required, what if they required you have this type of tracking system to be able to go to a sporting event or to attend school? It becomes required pretty quickly. We have to fight to protect freedoms. As we go forward, I believe we should focus in on bringing jobs back to America. All of us have become aware during this COVID-19 crisis that we rely too heavily on China for our pharmaceuticals, for our raw materials. We have 7 aluminum smelters here in the United States. China has 140. We have to start bringing home those types of manufacturing jobs to America, creating great opportunities for working families all throughout our country and right here in Washington State. I still believe that working together, we're going to come out of this crisis stronger than we went into it if we make the right decisions. And so during this Easter weekend, I would ask that God continue to bless the people of the United States, the people right here in Washington State, and your family. Let's work together, let's stay strong, and let's come out of this better than ever. Take care, Washington State. I look forward to talking with you again. And thanks again to We Speak and Ray Gilbride for allowing these types of messages to be brought directly to you, the people of Washington State.
Thank you, Doug. That's a lot of good information. From WeSpeak.com to everybody out there, happy Easter. And until we come back again with the next update, we'll see you then. Bye-bye.